Has this ever happened to you?
All right, let's get to work. Ugh. I feel like we can beat this font. Copper plate. A font for the truly modern man. Ha! No. There you are, Verdana. Thought you could hide at the end of the alphabet, did you? Oh, Comic Sans, you drunk. Go home. 310! I just spent 6 hours playing with fonts? Holy shit!
It happens to me too. Maybe you're there looking at your tablet, your software, and all of a sudden, cleaning the sink or dancing mambo seems like the most urgent thing in the world. So, if starting your art or your work feels overwhelming, stressful, or just straight up painful, don't worry. Today we're gonna figure out what that's all about. Let me be clear, that's not laziness, that's a learned behavioral pattern, and I promise you, it makes perfect sense. In behavioral psychology, this is often referred to as escape-maintained behavior. That means you're not avoiding the art or the work itself, you're escaping the discomfort tied to it. Maybe it's fear of messing up, confusion about where to start, or a belief that it has to be absolutely perfect. Imagine that you're at work, the deadline is just around the corner, your boss is dumping more tasks onto you, and suddenly, even if you don't smoke, you consider walking outside and lighting a cigarette. Not because you enjoy smoking and it makes you happy, but just to not be there right now.
Bojack, you really shouldn't throw a lit cigarette off the... Fine, I'll call 911.
You're escaping the pressure. The behavior, not working and taking a smoke break, gets reinforced by the relief you feel from not dealing with that pressure. That's negative reinforcement, not punishment, not failure, just a consistent pattern. So, what is exactly you're actually avoiding? Let's talk about task aversiveness, the actual stuff that makes a creative task feel heavy, stressful, or even unsafe. Here are common aversive triggers for artists. Number 1. Fear of criticism. Things like, if I post this, someone might point out everything that's wrong with it. The last time I shared, nobody liked it. What if I get ignored again? This happens to all of us. Perfectionism. It's very common for artists to think, if this isn't the best thing I've ever done, I'm just gonna be disappointed in myself. It has to look like it belongs in a freaking museum or it's not worth doing.
If it's so important, why have you written literally nothing in a year and a half?
It's too much pressure. This book is my one shot at preserving my legacy. I'm a joke. And if this book isn't good, I'm gonna be a joke forever. Everyone thinks that I'm just this washed up hack, but actually... Oh God. Actually, what if they're right? I can't breathe. Am I dying?
And as you might already know, this is not healthy at all.
On my grave, I wanted to say that I was born in 1975.
No one's gonna believe it.
Damn it, can't you?
Vague goals. I want to finish this piece, but I don't even know where I'm going with it. Should I do a reel? Should I print this? Should I do a whole series based on this? So you leave it for later, but you actually do nothing at all with that idea.
Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Chapter 1.
And lastly, overwhelm and stress. This is the one I struggle with the most. Things like just opening my project in Logic Pro or DaVinci and see everything empty and just not knowing where to start, just thinking ahead of myself of everything I have to do from start to finish. There's just too much to do. So I'd rather do literally anything else. Something like this.
Hey, Todd!
What?
Todd!
What?
Todd!
What?
Todd!
What?
Todd!
What?
Eyeballs here.
What?
Look at me. Look at me.
Ugh.
I need to work. I can't afford to be distracted. Don't distract me.
Fine.
Ugh, Jesus, Todd, read louder much.
Sorry.
Oh, sure. Just drop toaster strudel crumbs all over the floor, why don't you? Guess I'll just clean them up myself, like always. Ugh, I can't work like this.
Back in around 2019, I was freshly graduated and unemployed. I got into a government program to work on forensic psychology projects. And let me tell you, trying to do the research for my first one felt impossible to do. So I did what any reasonable human would do. I played a lot of video games, I watched movies, I rearranged my room like 7 times.
Oh, right. Yeesh.
And then, one day before the deadline, I gave up. I asked a couple friends if they wanted to drink on a Tuesday. Was it the right decision? I wouldn't say so. Did one of my friends also decide to quit his job the next day? Absolutely. Did we celebrate like Americans on Cinco de Mayo? Yes, but only until 3 a.m. since I had to wake up at 7. Was this the first time procrastination led me to tequila and carne asada instead of productivity? Of course not. Don't schedule your existential crisis for deadline day. By the way, here's a picture of my friend saying his farewells to the company he was working on. So, once you start noticing what you're avoiding, the next step is understanding how you avoid it. Because not all procrastination looks the same. Sometimes we escape mid-task. Other times, we never even get started. And that difference actually matters. The distinction is crucial. Escape behavior is when you start the task, you feel overwhelmed, and then you bounce. Like opening your DAW, you hear a messy track, a bad recording, you just close it and start scrolling your phone. Or starting to sketch something, you get frustrated because it's not coming out the way you want to. And then you switch to watch YouTube or TV or play video games. And with avoidance behavior, you never even start. You suddenly decide it's the perfect time to organize your wardrobe by color, which you never do. Or you clean your room, you research for new productivity apps like that's gonna be helpful. You spend 2 hours choosing the perfect Spotify playlist to get in the zone so you can get started. Both behaviors are negatively reinforced by the relief they bring. And the more consistent that relief is, the more entrenched or settled the habit becomes. And this is where it gets stickier. Every time you put something off and feel immediate relief, you're strengthening a neural and behavioral loop. The task, the work, is aversive. Avoiding the task means relief, and that relief becomes reinforcement. This is rooted on Skinner's work on negative reinforcement and operational conditioning, and Fruhan Parga describes it in terms of functional consistency, meaning if it works, it's gonna stick. For example, when you tell yourself, you know what, I'm gonna start in 5 minutes, I'm just gonna watch one more video.
Or should I just play one game now just to get the creative juices flowing?
But then you watch another, and then another, and then you think, well, it's pretty late now, I'm just gonna be more productive tomorrow. That relief feels like a reward, and that feeling reinforces the escape or avoidance pattern. Over time, the task doesn't just remain aversive, it becomes more aversive because it's now associated with a loop of frustration and resistance. So, what actually helps with this? If you saw my last video, you know I talk about reinforcement and environment design a lot. If you haven't seen that, go check it out after this one. It's all about how to shape motivation by designing better behavioral environments instead of waiting around for inspiration. So today, let's focus on 2 complementary tools. Number 1, functional awareness log. Start tracking when you procrastinate and what you are trying to avoid. Ask yourself, what was the task? What thoughts or feelings came up? What did you do instead? And what kind of relief did it give to you? I actually started doing this under my psychologist's guidance, and it's hard, like really hard. Sometimes I'd avoid the task or the work, but I'd also avoid writing it down in the log. I tell myself, I'm just gonna log it next time, or I'm just gonna remember it and do it later. Then the next time became a week, because deep down, I knew tracking it meant removing gratification and facing discomfort. But I also knew that I want to change this, because I was not happy with how often I was avoiding and escaping my work. And I had to accept that if I really want to change, I have to walk through that discomfort, not around it. So once you have like a couple of weeks of entries in your log, look for patterns. Are there certain times of the day you tend to avoid work? Are any specific emotions or thoughts showing up again and again? Are some environments or activities always your go-to escapes? Use that data to plan small experiments. Keep in mind, you're not trying to overhaul your life overnight, just tweak it a little. For example, if you notice that most escapes happen after lunch, schedule your creative time earlier. Or if your avoidance spikes when the task feels vague, define one clear objective before you even begin. Treat your log like a map. It's not just a record of where you've been, it's a tool to help you to decide where to go next. And tool number 2, response cost tweaks. Break down tasks into tiny actions with lower friction. Instead of stating, I'm gonna write a full blog post, try, okay, I'm just gonna open the document and think of an opening paragraph. Instead of saying, I'm gonna practice piano for an hour, try to sit in front of the keyboard and do exercises for 5 minutes. You really need to try with small goals instead of trying to do everything at once. This reduces the entry cost of starting. If the task becomes less aversive for you, escaping and avoiding loses its reinforcement power. I talk a lot about splitting your work into tiny goals in my previous video, as I mentioned earlier, so I strongly suggest you go watch that. I'm gonna leave you a link with the log I used to keep track of whenever I was trying to escape or avoid my work or my creative sessions. Okay, before we wrap up, here's a quick recap of what we've explored. First, procrastination isn't laziness. It's behavior shaped by negative reinforcement in the form of escape and avoidance. And then, task aversiveness comes from things like fear of failure, perfectionism, or feeling overwhelmed with the amount of work. Escape and avoidance are not the same, but both can become habitual and addictive. We saw how tracking your patterns through a functional awareness log helps you spot when and why procrastination persists, and using response cost tweaks lowers the friction so that getting started doesn't feel like climbing a mountain. You've just learned to protect yourself by stepping back, maybe a little too often, but behavioral patterns can be rewritten, and this one can too. Fellas, if this video helped you untangle your creative procrastination, hit the like button so we can reach other artists who are stuck in the same loop. And subscribe if you want to see more content on creativity, emotions, and support for artists. Thank you for making it till the end. See you in the next one. Keep on keeping on.